What is up, you guys? I am Rico with the Rico MMA Show. I'm here to talk about the UFC Fight Night, Marlon Moraes versus Cory Sandhagen. So let's get right into it, man. First off, oh yeah, Friday, man, TGIF. So, oh, and also if you like this content, man, like, subscribe. But yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about the 135 division bantamweight. Um, Now, let me tell you something about me. I don't personally love the smaller divisions like the 145s and the 135s and the 125s. I like to see knockouts on the daily. So I like anything from like welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. Like those are my, man, I will not miss those. I'm not going to lie, bro. The last few years, ever since Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw have not really been fighting as regularly, I don't watch a whole lot of these. So I had to do a lot of homework the past 2 days on these two guys. Now, granted, I saw Cory Sandhagen's last fight against Aljamain because that was a quick finish that choke out. And Marlon Moraes, I've seen him fight a few times, but I hadn't like just been watching every last single one of their fights. So I went back and just watched pretty much everything they've done, and I'm just like, okay, these dudes are pretty good, especially Marlon. He's got some power, dude. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm gonna do like a prediction breakdown. Um, Ask you guys some questions about what you think about this weekend's fights too. So let's get straight into it. Oh, also, do y'all think the winner of this fight this weekend? Do y'all think he could beat? Do you think they could beat Peter Yan? That's what I was thinking. Like, man, Peter Yan is the real deal in his boxing, his Thai boxing. He swarms you. He just kind of just lulls you into a false um, sense of safeness because he just kind of, when they watched him fight just not long ago, he just walks you down and doesn't really do much. He just kind of just, next thing you know, he's throwing combinations at you. So I was just like, I don't know if anybody can beat him in this division. He looks pretty dominant. So, and also his knockout of can't think of his name, Uriah Faber. That was nasty. That was like, whoa, okay, this dude, he's the real deal. So that's one thing. So let's talk about Marlon first. From what I watched, he's definitely a powerful blitzing striker who's good at kickboxing, of course. And I know I watched a lot of videos in his past. He was a former kickboxing coach. So, and him and Edison Barbosa, who's also on the card, are teammates. So they both come from a strong kickboxing background, from what I've learned. And he has a strong right hand. Like that dude will put you out with that strong right hand. He's a fast starter. Um, and he's got that strong left kick, man. That knockout of Aljamain Sterling he had, I think it was last year, or the year before. Dude was just like, yeah, it was just like watching a building fall over. And hey, I love Aljamain. If you ever watch this video one day, hey, much respect to you, bro. You're one of my favorite fighters. So I'm just saying, man. I just had to just report the news here. That knockout of Aljamain Sterling, man, was just like, damn, like, okay, this dude is the real deal. Also, that Jimmy Rivera head kick looked very similar to the Aljamain head kick. Both fighters is stunned when he clips him on the side of the head. Man, locks off their equilibrium. Just he's got some nasty kickboxing pedigree, man. He's got some nasty leg kicks that are strong, dude. So, also I noticed about Marlon from the next few videos, he's got good head movement for 135, dude. He's got that good boxing. He gets in, he's weaving punches, he's slipping punches. Um, He's good at feinting. He's good at coming over the top with kicks instead of punches. When he feints, he'll come with a kick maybe instead of a punch. He's just good at setting up things to trick you into thinking you're okay. Um, he's good at chewing up upon his legs, so he can get them in, get in for the takedown. So like once he takes out their base, he goes in for a takedown. He's surprisingly, like I said, he's surprisingly good at wrestling for a guy that's small, man. But he's muscled up, but he's got a really good wrestling base for a dude that size, man. And like I said, good kicks, punches. And the one thing I did notice in the Cejudo fight, he did slow down in that fight. So it kind of looked like his wheel was broken once Cejudo started, coming back. So that was the one fight where I didn't really like his fight. But I thought that Aldo fight, I thought he won, even though he technically didn't get the last title shot versus Jan. But I think that was because of a name thing. Like most hardcores know who Marlon Moraes is. And of course, I'm a hardcore, and I don't really watch his fights a whole lot, but I knew who he was from highlights and just all my updates I get on my phone. So I knew who he was. But most general public don't know who he is. Most people know who Aldo is, but I thought he won that fight. So like I said, his one knock on him is he tends to gas out, and that could be from his muscled up frame. Like when you have a lot of muscles like that, your arms tend and your entire body tends to build a lactic acid. Most of these guys, you probably know that. So that could be that could be from a reason. There could be a reason why he gasses out. Um, Another thing he's good at is gauging his partner's distance. He uses, he'll reach out with the hand, the glove control, glove tapping. And he's also good at, like I said, setting up strikes. So next thing is this: he's good at submissions. I noticed a lot of his fights he finished with the submission. He got the back of Rafael Assunção and John Dotson in those fights, and he's got those. I think they both were guillotine chokes, and they were nasty and they were deep. So he's really good at the finish. He's really good at the finish, and he goes for it when he can. Last few fights, he hasn't really been going for finishes. He's been getting knockouts and head kicks, but he's got a submission game behind him too. So don't let him just don't just think he's a kickboxer. He's well rounded. Let's just say that. Um, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this division. Definitely because most of the guys aren't exciting anymore. Like I said, T.J. Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt and what's the other guy's name? That Dominic Cruz. Yeah, that guy. All those three dudes. I love how they talk. Talk smack, and they just have that. They all have a story of why they hate each other and why this one's better than that one. So, but like I said, I'm starting to get back into this division, and hopefully it's a good fight this weekend. So let's talk about Cory Sandhagen real quick. Cory Sandhagen, dude, I had no idea he was 5'11", fighting in the 135 division. Dude, that's like a skyscraper. So he also has a 70-inch reach, and Marlon has a 67-inch reach, and Marlon only stands 5'6". I had no idea. I know he's a little guy, but I know he's that short. But 5'11", so clearly Sandhagen should have the odds. He should, like right now, if you look at the odds right now, I think Cory is the odds. He's the odds favorite. But I'll get into why I think. I'll get into the rest of that later. But so Cory's the odds favorite, and I'm assuming it's because of that. If you think about it, Moraes has fought the who's who. He's fought more. He's fought champions. Um, he's just fought more decorated people. Cory is still on his. He's still on his rise. He's still learning. He's still growing. He hasn't fought. His toughest competition of yet was Aljamain, but uh, uh, Moraes has definitely fought stiffer competition. So like I said, he stands 5'11". He's a good stand-up fighter. He works the body. I don't think I've ever seen a 135 but work the body like that. Most dudes in the UFC, if you notice, if you don't watch boxing and others MMA sports, most MMA guys do not mix it up. They're pretty much headhunters, from what I've noticed. I've never seen a guy just from watching these fights go to the body so just distinctly, other than like maybe Stipe going to DC's body. But that was kind of like an instinct thing. I think he was trying to stay alive, fight or flight. But Sandhagen purposely is going for your body from the start to the finish while he's still in there. So I thought that was awesome. So like I said, he's a good stand-up fighter. Uses his kicks to contain distance. He's got that jab to manage his distance. He's got a good gas tank. I noticed that from his fights, the ones that go long. So uh, one thing I did notice was trying to look at my notes here. I got a million things on here. He's not going to blind you with his speed. That's what I was going to say. So Moraes, I think, has a speed advantage on in this fight. So I think that Moraes can like I said, flip, weave, uh, just have good footwork. Don't stand in front of him. Stick and move. Just like fundamentals. Um, and then one thing I noticed about Cory too, he's good at switching stances. He'll go from southpaw to orthodox to southpaw, and he'll set up kicks in southpaw, then he'll set up punches in orthodox. And I was like, man, you don't really see people switch stances other than like I know Carlos Condit did it this past weekend, and of course Izzy did it the weekend before against Paulo Costa, but you don't really see guys switch stances like repeatedly in fights. Usually they stick to one and that's it. But he's good at switching stances comfortably in a fight. So that's pretty cool. Oh, also one thing about this is he's good at cutting off the octagon. Like I always talk about people circling away from people's power hand. If you never noticed that, people will do the ring around the rosy, and everybody's like, why is he running? Why is he running? No, people are circling away from their power hand, and the average person's power hand is their right hand. So that's why you always see people running around to the left. But Cory, on the other hand, is good at cutting people off when they're trying to run from his power hand. And I noticed that he'll walk you down, cut the octagon off while you're trying to go away, and he'll attack you with a jab, a kick, or whatever. So he's good at cutting off the octagon. when people are circling away from his power right hand. And that's when he's in orthodox stance. That's what I noticed. So it's his right hand, it's his power hand. And when he's in orthodox, people are running left, and he's cutting them off to the right. And he's a good pressure fighter. I noticed that he keeps the pace up. He's kind of like a Eddie. What's his name? I can't think of the little. I mean, maybe Mighty Mouse, but he's just very go 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 go. He's like a locomotive dude. So he's good at wearing out his opponents. So all right, so let's talk about keys to victory and prediction. So keys to victory. So based off Moraes' gas tank and Sandhagen's pressure and his length, we understand why Sandhagen's the favorite. If Sandhagen wants to win, I think he has to utilize his distance with his jabs and kicks. Pretty much circle um, Moraes the entire fight. Just kick and jab. Basically, just keep him at bay. Make sure his takedown defense is together. But basically, just fight like John Jones. Just kick, stick move, jab, kick, move. Just stay away from Marlon's power hand. If he just circles to the left, stay away from his power hand and just be a boring fighter. Just punch, move, punch, move, punch, move. So Marlon's keys to victory. I think since Sandhagen's coming off a quick chokeout victory from Sterling, I think Marlon's going to have to utilize his wrestling. And I think he's going to have to shock him with his speed, his blitzing power, and come over the top with that big right hand. And once Sandhagen falls, I think he has to submit him. Marlon also needs to expose Sandhagen's below average takedown defense, which is only 33%. So I think once he's on the ground, and I think he's susceptible to chokes, guillotines, rear naked chokes, things like that. And it's kind of strange that when I looked up his stats that he was so bad at takedown defense. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just below average, but I'm thinking that's because maybe he's undersized. He's tall for the division, but he's not girthy. He's not like he doesn't have a base. Like when you're that tall and just think you're cutting that much weight, you're gonna be. I'm not saying he's weak, because no disrespect, but I just feel like I kind of get why his takedown defenses might be that bad, because these dudes they're fighting these little guys in this 135 division. They're like little bowling balls, like Cody Garbrandt, Tito Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz. Like even though they're not super tall, they're very they have a good base. They're solid. You know what I mean? And from looking at his body frame, he's just not that big. So I can kind of understand why his takedown defense is not that great. And also from watching Moraes, he has good head movement. Like I said, he's a kickboxer by trade, so he has really good head movement. He's got really good jabs. He's got really good kicks as well. So both of these fighters are really good at striking. So for Moraes to win, like I said, use his head movement, catch him with the overhand right, get him down on the ground, choke him out. And when they're in close, when they're in close exchanging, he needs to take advantage of the of Sandhagen's. He doesn't move his head much. So I noticed in the fight when Sandhagen comes in, he doesn't move his head a lot. He doesn't slip a lot of punches. He doesn't lose. He doesn't have. I mean, he does, but he doesn't have great head movement for a UFC fighter. He's not like one of the best head movers in the game. So I think Moraes can expose that with his accuracy, his power, and his experience. So my pick for the fight, I'm gonna go with Moraes with experience and, like I said, his power and accuracy. And I think it'll be a good fight though. All right, so let's get to the co-main: Edson Barboza versus Makwan Americani. I cannot say his name to save my life, so don't sue me. And this is for the 145 featherweight. I am so used to seeing Edson fight at 155, I forgot that he had dropped down. So let's just get into a quick breakdown for them. Edison is obviously known for the best kickboxing in UFC. His leg kicks are like out this world fast. They're like, and it's the speed by your head. He has slowed a little bit over his past few fights. He's on a 3-fight skid. But he has big wins over Felder, Dan Hooker, people of that like. He's faced the who's who in this division, man, and in the lightweight division. I know he's coming off a loss to Ige. I think I watched a little bit of that fight and I thought he won, but he's coming out. He's gonna fight a tough guy in Makwan. So also, yeah, he looked decent against Khabib. He did get taken down a lot, and he got knocked out to Gaethje. So I remember that. Like I said, he's got probably the hardest, fastest kicks in the UFC in general, because he's one of the best kickboxers. But both fighters are really good starters. I noticed that from watching their fights. They're both powerful in the beginning. Edison also has a big flying knee knockout that I went back and watched over Benil Dariush, which was I remember that watching that fight, but I had forgotten about it. But that was definitely one of the craziest knockouts I've seen. Let's get on to Makwan then. Makwan, as well as he's known as a submission specialist. From every fight I watched, man, most of them he was doing some kind of good wrestling, and he's transitioning to some kind of like anaconda choke, rear naked choke, or guillotine or something like that. So he's good at mixing it up on the feet to soften his people up for takedowns and then go for submission attempts. Like I said, he doesn't have a lot of power, but he's a fast starter. So if he is gonna knock you out, like he did for he KO'd Andy Ogle, which is an older fight, and he's obviously older now, but he did knock him out early. But for most of his fights, he does start off quickly, but he tends to gas out in the later rounds. So like I said, Makwan's a fast starter, but tends to gas out in longer fights. I think if the fight stays on the feet, it's a danger for Makwan because of course Eddie is better on the feet. He's a better kickboxer, all of that. And I think Makwan's gonna have to try to land. This is probably gonna be a striker versus wrestler fight. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Makwan just needs to land a takedown, and because if he doesn't take Edison off his feet, it's probably gonna be a short night for him. So he's got to get on the ground, set up to the submission. The only problem is with that is Eddie's he's skilled in jiu-jitsu, and he probably won't be easily taken down or submitted because he has an 8% takedown defense, and other than a complete fight, he hasn't really been taken down much in his career. So most of Edison's losses have been by decision. They haven't been by like uh, submission or anything like that. So most of his losses are just decisions. Other than Paul Felder, I think that was who knocked him out. He hasn't really been finished much. So let's go on. So my pick for the night for that fight is going to be Edison, and because of his leg kicks and experience, and I just think he's gonna have a resurgence. So that's my pick for that fight. Sleeper fight of the night is I'm gonna go with Tom Aspinall. He's at a UK. He's a great boxer. He looks like Frank Mir reincarnated or something, but he's like a stand-up Frank Mir. Frank Mir was a submission specialist, but this dude's got some power. He's got good combinations. I remember watching him on the Contender Series, and he had that good, awesome combination. He like hit the dude in the gut with a flying knee, not a flying knee, but a good knee, and then he came over with the right and pretty much put the dude out. So that's the fight to look out for. Impa Kasanganai is on the card. He's another Contender Series guy. He's a fast starter. He's got a lot of power. He walks you down. He's just he's a good dude, man. He's just I think he's a future of that. I don't know if it's the future, but he's got some future. So that was a long video, man. I want to be that long, but like I said, like, subscribe. If you like this kind of content, let me know. Put in the comments if any questions for me about what you want me to do next. So y'all have a good Friday, man. I'll probably do a reaction video to this to own my picks. All right, see y'all later.